10,000 years ago, at the end of the Ice Age, a machine arrived from space to transform humans into mutants. A warrior named Nam united the tribes and sealed the machine underground. Nan's descendants form an order in Eastern Europe to keep the machine's story alive through myths and a sacred book called the Chronicles. By the year 277, people had forgotten about the machine, and Earth's resources were nearly gone. Four corporations now control the world, constantly fighting over the few remaining resources. In Europe, the Bauhaus Corporation prepares for a battle against the Capital Corporation, not realizing they are near the buried machine. Bauhaus Commander Steiner orders artillery attacks, while Capital Commander Nathan encourages his men to stay brave despite their losses. Sergeant Mitch collects dog tags of fallen soldiers to honor them. During the battle, explosions uncover the machine, but no one notices. Bauhaus responds with grenades and poison gas, killing many Capital soldiers. Bauhaus troops then invade the Capital trenches, killing everyone in sight. Mitch is saved by Nathan, and they fight back together. Another explosion causes the cave roof to collapse, releasing a strange creature that attacks the soldiers. More mutants emerge, quickly destroying Capital soldiers. Bauhaus soldiers are also attacked by the mutants. Nathan and Mitch, trying to survive, initially think Bauhaus is responsible for the bodies they find. Nathan confronts Steiner, and a knife fight breaks out until soldiers from both sides surround them. Seeing the mutant threat, Nathan and Steiner agree to team up, and both armies fight the mutants. During the struggle, a soldier named Jesus is wounded. An evacuation plane arrives, and Nathan distracts the mutants so the survivors can escape. Mitch carries Jesus to the plane, but Nathan is overwhelmed by the mutants. News of the mutants reaches the Order of Nan. Brother Samuel and a silent nun named Sarian check the Chronicles of Mutants, hoping to find a way to destroy the machine. The book reveals that mutants turn injured and dead people into more mutants, making them nearly invincible. However, it also predicts a chosen one who can destroy the machine. Samuel calls a meeting with the leaders of the four corporations to discuss the situation. The mutants have taken over many cities, and they propose evacuating humanity to Mars, but Samuel points out there aren't enough spaceships for everyone. Samuel believes the mutants are smart enough to follow humans to Mars. Instead, he proposes sending a team to the cave to destroy the machine. However, the corporate leaders argue and can't make a decision. As the mutants' attacks worsen, life in the cities deteriorates and evacuations begin. But as Samuel predicted, there aren't enough evacuation tickets for everyone. Soldiers trying to protect the streets are killed, and some evacuation ships are brought down by explosions meant for the mutants, killing everyone inside. Privately, one of the leaders tells Samuel he can't go to Mars due to his poor health, but is determined to help. He gives Samuel his ship and tickets to attract volunteers for the mission, promising their families will get to escape. After Samuel leaves, mutants surround and kill the leader. Meanwhile, Mitch visits Nathan's family to deliver the bad news. Nathan's wife has a breakdown, fearing for their daughter's safety, since they weren't chosen for evacuation. Mitch tries to comfort her but feels helpless. Later, Mitch gets drunk at a bar, dipping his teammates' dog tags in whiskey. Samuel approaches him and asks him to join the mission. Initially, Mitch refuses, but changes his mind when Samuel offers him evacuation tickets. The next day, Nathan's wife considers poisoning herself and her daughter to avoid the mutants. Mitch arrives just in time and gives her the tickets so they can escape. Samuel then gathers a small team of warriors who agree to join the mission. They plan to navigate underground tunnels and plant a special bomb at the machine's center, which must be activated with a key believed to be inside the machine. Samuel believes the chosen one is in the team and will know what to do when the time comes. Steiner takes the group to a cell where a mutant is locked up to teach them how to kill it. Sarian demonstrates her skills by killing the mutant, while Steiner explains that phosphorus bombs, gunfire, or a well-aimed sword can kill the creatures. As the mutant dies, Mitch thinks he briefly sees it turn human. Afterward, the team gathers weapons and supplies and prepares to go. Before boarding the aircraft, they receive a set of sacred swords. The airship shakes a lot but manages to take off safely. During the flight, the team shares stories about the loved ones they gave the tickets to. Suddenly, they notice a civilian ship heading right at them. They try to contact the ship to ask it to change course, but there's no response. The civilian aircraft has been hijacked by mutants, so Samuel's group opens fire. After a few missed shots, they lose track of the enemy ship in the clouds. Suddenly, their own vehicle is hit by a big explosion. The aircraft catches on fire and the team rushes to the escape pod, which is stuck and won't detach. The pilot, severely injured, uses the manual lever with his last breath, allowing the escape pod to finally release. The parachute deploys, but the capsule is too heavy and the parachute soon breaks. The capsule starts falling dangerously fast, and the team argues about when to open the backup. The capsule crashes into a building, but they manage to open the spare parachute and land in an open field. Everyone is fine except for the captain, who has been impaled by shrapnel and can't be saved. Mitch gives him a grenade, and as the group walks away, they hear the explosion that kills the captain. Moments later, the team finds themselves crossing a city occupied by mutants, moving as carefully as possible. Mitch notices that the evacuation isn't going well because two soldiers are demanding huge amounts of money to let people board and are hitting those who complain. Furious, Mitch makes his way through the crowd to confront the soldiers. When they refuse to cooperate, he kills one of them. The other soldier, terrified, allows every civilian to board for free. Mitch returns to the team only for Steiner to scold him for putting the mission in jeopardy. Following a map from the book, the group keeps going and reaches an abandoned church by evening. According to the chronicles, there are secret tunnels underneath that could lead them to the machine. They enter the church by lowering themselves through the roof with ropes, surrounded by religious statues and thousands of bones. Following the chronicles, they cross the catacombs and find the lost city of the ancients. The book says the elevator shaft will take them to the tunnels, so they need to rappel down 60 stories. Kim sets up a foothold at the top to provide cover from the elevator cabin, then the team secures the rope and begins their descent. At the specified distance, they don't see any entrance. Samuel, distracted while consulting the chronicles, slips and falls. Mitch tries to grab him, but the chain breaks and Samuel falls. Fortunately, it's not a long fall, but there are many mutants waiting for them. Mitch jumps down to protect Samuel with bullets and flames, closing the elevator door for some time. Steiner hears the noise and throws a grenade, which Sarian catches and throws into the hole to protect Samuel. The noise attracts more mutants. When the rest of the group joins Samuel, a fierce fight begins. They fight as many mutants as they can, but are clearly overpowered, so they run to the next room. The mutants chase them and corner them. Kim furiously fires his machine gun, killing as many mutants as possible until he runs out of ammo. He then shoots some fire and cuts the rope, causing the elevator cabin to start falling. Kim fights with his swords, then switches to his gun, finally killing a mutant with its own knife arm. At the bottom, the team prepares to descend by fighting with their swords. The cabin crashes on top of the horde, causing another explosion. Yet, not all the mutants are dead. As the team gets ready to keep fighting, Kim's hand emerges from the rubble and activates a grenade, killing the remaining mutants and himself. After a moment to pay respects to Kim, the team continues their journey. Samuel checks the chronicles again, which irritates Mitch, who doesn't grasp the book's importance. Samuel urges him to have faith and pours water on the ground, revealing the tunnel entrance. The group quickly crosses, reaching another room where they cautiously walk along a ledge, observing the mutants below. The mutants are driving wounded people to the machine, and Mitch is horrified to see Nathan among the victims. Steiner orders Mitch to stay, knowing he'd want to save Nathan, but Mitch disobeys. Steiner considers shooting Mitch to stop him, but ultimately refrains and continues with the others. Mitch climbs down and shoots a stalactite, killing the mutant dragging Nathan. He reunites with his friend and carries Nathan to safety. Knowing his family is safe on Mars, Nathan urges Mitch to leave him and complete the mission. Seeing his friends suffering, Mitch ends Nathan's misery. Meanwhile, the team reaches a narrow bridge they must cross quietly to avoid alerting the mutants below. Suddenly, Steiner slips and falls, barely holding on, is yelling, luring the mutants. Steiner, carrying the bomb, hangs on as Severin takes the bomb from him before he falls and is attacked by the mutants. Steiner opens fire to defend himself. Samuel suggests leaving Steiner behind, but the others refuse and jump in to help. The fierce battle ensues, and the team fights valiantly but is overwhelmed by the mutants. Each team member is badly wounded and Samuel is killed. An explosion also burns one of them, and the mutants drive all the bodies to the machine. Minutes later, Mitch arrives and is devastated to find Jesus' dog tag. He is suddenly attacked by a mutant but quickly kills it thanks to a warning from Sarian, who had been hiding. This is the first time Sarian has spoken in years. After sharing what happened, Mitch gathers the pieces of the book and asks her to read it, but she reveals she can't. She just has faith in it. Furious, Mitch decides to head to the center of the cave and improvise. The duo advances until they find the mutant lair and immediately set up an explosive. While watching their teammates being dragged to the machine, Mitch sets off an explosive that blocks the entrance and kills a few mutants, allowing him to free Valerie and Steiner. Mitch looks into the pit at the center of the cave, finding a mechanism that transforms people into mutants after a complete rotation. Sarian and Valerie tie themselves with a rope and head down to the heart of the machine, while Mitch and Steiner hold them from above. Soon, the mutants start breaking through the blocked entrance. Steiner leaves Mitch to handle the rope alone and confronts the monsters. With one last salute, Steiner activates a grenade, sacrificing himself and killing all the mutants. The rope's weight becomes too much for Mitch, dragging him to the edge of the pit until he falls. The women fall too, but land safely. However, Mitch ends up in the mechanism, which holds him down and exposes him to radiation. A mechanical arm inserts various chips into his body. When the last chip is supposed to go into his head, Mitch dodges it, causing the machine to break the bindings instead. Mitch grabs his gun and destroys the mechanical arm. Mitch joins the women and uses a knife to remove the chips from his body. His face remains slightly mutated, but he never fully transforms. They finally reach the heart of the machine. While Mitch prepares the bomb, Sarian and Valerie fend off attacking monsters. Mitch struggles to understand the device and where to place the detonator, so he tries to figure it out from the few book pages he has. Sarian takes care of several monsters but freezes when she sees a mutated Samuel approaching. When Samuel attacks, Sarian forces herself to fight him. Valerie kills another mutant but falls and her body is cut in two by the spinning device. Mitch takes over her spot and fights the remaining monsters, urging Sarian to kill Samuel. However, Sarian can't bring herself to harm her mentor and Samuel stabs her before pushing her off. Samuel and Mitch then engage in a hand-to-hand fight. After exchanging blows, Mitch pushes Samuel to the ground and punches him with his team's dog tags. Samuel pushes him off and Mitch falls next to a book page and a sword. Realizing the sacred sword is the key, Mitch uses it to stab Samuel and then inserts it into the machine. The hatch on the ceiling opens and the structure starts shaking. Samuel tells Mitch to take a leap of faith. After some hesitation, Mitch jumps and falls into an underground river. When he resurfaces, he watches the machine take off, flying into space and finally leaving Earth for good. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.